Hi all, thanks for joining today's session and that too on a weekday and on a Friday evening. In today's session, we would be seeing a topic on unveiling the fusion of Azure and OpenAI in chatbot development, where we will be seeing are what is Azure OpenAI and how do we use it for connecting and building a chatbot. Before we get into the session, let me give a brief introduction of myself. I am a senior software engineer working for Ford and a MTech data scientist from BITS Pilani. And I am a Microsoft certified trainer as well. And I do hold more than six certification of Microsoft. And I am a global speaker and I had spoken many communities and contributed by writing and by writing blogs and articles in C Sharp Corner. And I am a platinum member and top 500 member at C Sharp Corner. And this is my LinkedIn ID. Please feel free to connect with me through LinkedIn. And this is my blogs and article page. Please do share. Please do um, go ahead and like that as well. With that, agenda for today. First is we would be seeing what is Azure OpenAI, and then we would be touch basing on how to how does the NLP works in Azure OpenAI, and we would be seeing what are the uses of Azure OpenAI and the prerequisite that are needed for accessing the Azure OpenAI and to build a chatbot, we would be seeing what is bot and what are the disadvantages that are there in the existing chatbot, and what does the Azure OpenAI provide you as an advantage. And we would be covering a demo on all the same, and at last we would be having a Q&A session for it. With that, I am starting over the session for today. We would be see what Azure OpenAI is a pre-trained model that is available under the Azure, and it has the custom model custom capabilities that is available, and it will be having the open AI capabilities that are available under the umbrella of Azure, whereas the GPT capabilities will be available, and it is a tool to implement the responsible AI, and it provides you the enterprise for great security. And when it comes for Azure OpenAI NLP functionality, what it does is that it has the ability to take in the natural language, and it would be generating the response based on your prompts that you given. And it includes the GPT model, which is like there are several natural language tasks that it can perform of. Few are being listed here, like it can summarize your text, it can classify your text, and then it can generate a name for you. And the prompts will vary on the way that what you are giving. Like it can be when you give summarize this text, and when you give a then that falls under the summarizing text. And if you give what is the genre of this book, then that becomes the classifying text. And it works in that a way that it, your your prompts are being classified, and that becomes a task under the NLP, and NLP, and that gets integrated with the Azure OpenAI, and uh, it gives you the responses based on it. So what are bots? Bots are like these are used to create the software bots, and this is used in the conversational way, either by using the text or graphics. And what the human does, it would be doing by itself, and it has the ability to mimic the human action, and it would be uh, it would all be the software bots that it gets involved, and it would uh, the it would make happen the task automatically. So when it comes for bots in Azure OpenAI, you have different ways of creating a bot, which is like there can be a way of creating it with the bot service that has been available, and then there is a functionality of Power Virtual Agent, and there are different ways that are available. And today we would be seeing how to create a chatbot using the Azure OpenAI integration by developing. I mean, we would be seeing the chatbot by using the Azure OpenAI service. And when it comes on the umbrella of how the chatbot has been, how the mic, how the Azure OpenAI service is being available, there are different kind of AI that is AI services that are being available. And when it comes for the OpenAI service, it has been available with different kind of services that has been integrated. Like you can integrate it with decision or language or speech or vision, and that can be integrated with bot service or cognitive service, form recognizer, and there are different kind of applied AI services that are available. And you can make use of that, and using that, it has the capability of using the machine learning technique as well being integrated with it, and you can publish it with the uh, business users. And um, I mean, it all comes under the developers and data scientists, right? So you can make use it in the Microsoft 365 or Dynamic 365 as well. Like you can build a chatbot, and you can publish it in the Power Platform. So it works in the way that it gets integrated with, it gets multiple integration with each other, and you can able to use that in various ways. And you can ask me a question that why we have different ways of creating a bot, and why do we have to go with Azure OpenAI service? So there are few drawbacks that are being available in the existing bots. Few are like the organization face problem the in personalizing the chatbot to increase the productivity. And the second one is like it will not be able to understand the specific terminology that the organization is approaching for, and it would not be able to reply back in your format. And it also struggles in providing to the responses that you provide as prompts, and it gives you as a generic response, and there is a absence of personalization that has been that has been available over the existing bots that are existing in the market. So there came the Azure OpenAI, which has the capability of tailoring itself to the organization need, as well as it has the responsibility to handle the responses that are being given to it as a form of prompts, and it gets integrated with the organization workflow and business rules that are being given to it. Like if you train a Azure OpenAI model with what with some kind of hospital rules, then that answers you in the form of hospital related queries. And if you train it in the form of some kind of some kind of situation, like when you go into IRCTC, then it answers you back with that format. So it adopts itself for the business rules that you are setting it for, and it would be able to work in that format. And these are few advantages that are there under the Azure OpenAI, and it would be able to it would be able to work in better than the other bots that are being available in the market. And then when it comes for the architecture, what you would be doing is that you will be having a UI UX screen, and inside the UI UX screen where you would be integrating with your app server. And you would be creating a Azure OpenAI service that has been available. And w- with the Azure OpenAI service, you would also have to create a Azure cognitive search as well. And what happens is that, with the app server or orchestrator, you would be giving the prompts that you want. And the Azure OpenAI is being trained with different kind of the data sources that you need to train, like that can be of different files, or that can get integrated with the SQL, or that can get integrated into the web as well. So it gets connected with your Azure cognitive search, and the cognitive search will help you in a way that if it would set you an indexer, and with the indexer it would be searching the keyword for you, and with that keyword it would be giving you the response that it needs for. And it exactly behaves like a chat GPT or GPT models. And um, as this is being built with the GPT and Chat GPT, it would be in a better way that it gets trained on. And the advantage, now you can ask me a question that we have a Chat GPT itself, and why do I have to come and use a chatbot which is being available under the Azure OpenAI? The answer would be very simple. Like it is not being personalized for your business purpose. It can be used for anything, and here you can use it for your personalized purpose, and you would be able to have the Azure services in a different way, like that can get integrated into the different application as well, and you can publish it into the different different application and make use of those uh, uh, services as well. And when it comes for uses of Azure OpenAI, it is being used in the wide range of the uh, various things, like the content generation, chatbot, and virtual assistant. Like you can have it for building a conversation between a human and a like it acts as a virtual assistant. And then it would be acting as a translation, like since it has been available under the latest version of, you can even now adapt to the 3.5 3.5 version of GPT. So you can make use of the translation, and between the different languages, and the content inside it would be a latest one. And When it comes for text summarization, it automatically summarizes the long article using the chat gpt 3 or 3.5, and it would make you to extract the key information. And when it comes for it also acts as a sentiment analysis in terms of reviewing the customer reviews. And then when it comes for the social media post, then it can be handled in a better way. And with the help of the NLP integration as well, it would be helping you to um, make it make it in a better way, and would be helping you to integrate with the other application as well. And yeah, it has the few capabilities of having the Azure OpenAI functionality. Like you would be able to have the uh, cognitive service that has been it cognitive service being underlying data from the Cosmos DB, and that can be used into the different ways and being implemented. And the basic thing is that you need not to be an expert in data science, or you need not know the ML techniques to get the chatbot being ready. Rather, with little knowledge or no knowledge as well, it acts as like a low code no code platform. It acts as similar to the low code no code platform, and where you would be able to have the service being delivered for you with the basics of prompt engineering, and fine tune the model for your requirement and your business requirements. And you can build n number of chatbots that are needed to um, train under your domain, and use the simple, easy language of English as a querying language to get the data for your response, and provide it as a input as well. So these are some of the features that are being available under the Azure OpenAI, and some of the uses of the Azure OpenAI as well. And when you want to build a chatbot under the Azure OpenAI, or when you want to consume the Azure OpenAI model, then what you have to do is that you have to get a separate access of Azure OpenAI, where you have to register it under this link. And it should have a instance in Azure, where it would be accepting only the active Azure subscription. And when you place in the request over there for your Azure OpenAI access, you would get validated, and you would receive a mail saying that you are now eligible for using the Azure OpenAI service after the validation process, which would take a maximum of 10 days to get your Azure subscription, OpenAI subscription. And then you post the creation of post the registration and everything. You would be using the Azure OpenAI Studio, where you would be deploying the model, and you would be training the model, and you can play around the different ways of using it. Where now we will be seeing what are the different things that we can do under the Azure OpenAI, and how can we get the Azure access as well. Let me now go to the portal and show you how the form will look like, and how can you get the access for the same. So when you go to this page, it would prompt you to enter the name and the subscription that what you need for. And it would also ask you for the active Azure subscription that what you are currently maintaining for, and it would ask you for the company details, company name, address, city, state, zip code, and all those details. And post that, it would ask you if your organization is an ISV, or all those basic questions has to be answered over there. And it then prompts you for getting the various OpenAI service that are being available. Like you can select in what you need, and you can start it gets the requesting access for, and you can get the access for the same. And then it also asks you for a few things like what will be the use case that you would be selecting on. And once you click these ones, it would be selecting the inner questions like under which use cases you would be using these things, and do you need all these ones. And few are being available for exclusively MVPs as well. And if you go ahead and click that, then your kind of application may get rejected as well. And once you are done with everything, you can go ahead and submit it, and you would be receiving a mail saying that you are now prompted with the Azure OpenAI service, and you can be using it. So this is how you have to request the access for Azure OpenAI service. And when you had received the access and everything, we would be able to use the Azure OpenAI service, for which now we will be seeing a demo of how can we play in a different way around the Azure OpenAI service. For which, what you have to do is that you have to navigate to the Azure portal, and you have to search for Azure OpenAI service. And once you get that, you have to click on create, and just a second, let it load. You have to click on create, and this page gets loaded in. And what you have to do now is that you have to select in a resource group, where the resource group is kind of important thing um, uh, under the Azure, where it would be grouping the different resources together, and it would help you in way of if you want to delete something, or it gets you tagged under the same group. So you would be giving a resource group here, and you would be selecting the region, and will be giving a name for it, and you would select the pricing tier as well. And once you are done with everything, I'm just giving once you are done with everything, you would click on next. And it would next prompt you to select the network, and you can give the tag and review and submit. Once you are done with all the process till the review and submit, you now give the create, and it gets created with the Azure OpenAI service, and the deployment is in progress. And once the deployment is done, you would be able to have the resource being ready for you to use it, where it would give you the uh, key and value, as well as it would you would be able to get the endpoint as well. And with the endpoint, you can get it connected with different different platforms, and or you can connect it with the different codings as well. Like with the endpoint, you can connect it with Python, or with the endpoint of Azure OpenAI service, you can connect it with the Power Virtual Agent. So you can do that in different ways. And once the deployment is done, before deployment gets complete, now to get a chatbot being available for you, what we can do is that we now have to we also need a cognitive search being available for us as well. So what we would be doing is that we would now navigate back to the Azure portal and will search for cognitive search, and it would be available. And again, it's the process of same. We would be creating the Azure cognitive search and tagging the same resource group that what you had did, and you would be creating it. And once you are done with that, I'm not creating it because I had already created it, so I'm not again creating it. Maybe let it load. Okay, I had created the new one as well. So once you had did this, then what will happen is that it gets prompted saying that your cognitive service as well as your deployment, everything is being ready. And once you are done with those things, you also need a storage account where you would be storing your data, like the data that you want to provide to your chatbot has been available. So you now have to create a storage account or with a container or blob, and you would be using it, for which what you have to do is that you have to navigate to the storage account in the resources and click on create, where you would be selecting the same resource group and giving a name for your account, and you would give on the create. And while creating, there are okay. While creating, there are few things that needs to be noted. For a blob to be used, you have to allow the anonymous access. So you can check in this as well, and then you have to um, enable the public access, and you can check in. You can check the data protection that what you want, and the data that needs to be purged or for, and you have to retain for how many days. So all those details can be maintained here, and it works in the same way for the containers as well. And post that, it prompts you for the encryption, and how how do you manage your support for the customer managed keys, and post that it tags you the tags that you want to enter, and then you would be creating the storage account for yourself. It just takes a minute or so to get it reviewed, and that you can create your storage account. And once you are done with all these steps, what you can do now is that you now have to go back to your Azure. Let it be in the deployment and progress. Let me go back to the Azure OpenAI service, and let's see what are the things that are being available for us to use. Like we saw in the slide, right? Once we are done with the registration, we would be creating an instance in Azure. So till the second step, uh, uh, we we are done with that, and now we have to go to the third step, which is http dot oai.azure.com, where what happens is that it would get prompt you for the studio login. And once you are done with that, you would be having the different AI open AI studio gets opened here. And when you log in for the first time, you have to tag in tag in the AI service that you had mapped for. For example, OpenAI example 231 is a um, OpenAI service that what we had created under the Azure portal, and that is being tagged here. And you have different ways of chat, and then deployments, and these there are different things that are being available under the Azure OpenAI Studio. So now what we have to do is that we are now going to build a chat, right? So we would be coming to the chat, and with the chat being available, you will be having a ways of selecting the prompts that he want to give. Like if the user gives in this way, then this would be my answer. So you can decide on how it would be interacting, and if it's a default, then it would be giving you the information based on it. And this is something which has been generated by the system as such, and you can change that by adding in your data to the chatbot as well. Or if you just want a basic thing, then there are options that are being available to deploy the same model into the web app or to the Power Virtual Automate, and you can go ahead and use it. So you also have an option to personalize the chatbot for yourself, where you can add in the data source that is being available. Like you will be selecting the cases on which data source that you want to add in. We had created a blob storage, right? So we would be coming here, and we would be selecting the data that what we had given for, and it would now prompt for there are no resource that are being under the I mean, there are no blob containers that are being under the resource. That's because we had not uploaded any kind of file inside that blob. Once you had uploaded the file, then you would get the file over here, and you can make use of that file. And you can then select the cognitive search, and once you are done with that, you would be giving the indexer name and indexer schedule on how it has to work on. Like it it has to check on hourly basis, or if it has to check for only once or on a daily basis. So it would be working in that way. And then when you had acknowledged it, it would be prompting you for moving further. Now, in this case, it would not prompt you because we had not uploaded any kind of resource in it. Now, I have now uh, tried in a different way. Like we would be using the upload file options, where it again goes back to the blob storage only, and you have to turn on your CORS, and your CORS gets turned on, where it is like cross origin resource sharing, where the resource under your portal gets been used to the OpenAI service that has been available under the Azure, and that is where the cross-origin resource sharing has been used. And you will be selecting the cognitive search that what you had selected, and will be entering the name for it. And then then you will then upload the files that what you have for training. Like I have two files, which is like one will be stating what is Azure, and second one will be stating what is AI Builder inside the Power Apps. So we will be uploading these both, which are now present in my desktop, into the portal where we will be uploading those files, or you can select any two of it and can select it. And once that is being done, it gets uploaded, and it would be your status would be your status gets turned on to the uploaded one. And it would take time for a minute or so based on your connection. Just a second, let it get loaded. Okay, one file gets uploaded, right? So this is the way that it would get uploaded, and post the post the upload, you would be given an option on how do you have to have your search type as whether it will be a keyword or whether it will be a semantic search. So based on those type of requirement that what you need, you would be selecting here and will be clicking on the save and close. Once you are done with that, your data gets ingested here, and if you want to remove that, you can remove that here. And now what happens is that it would be having I mean, the processing has been happening over there, and it would create it would create the pre-processing of those two files. And it would not once those data is been available, it would prompt you for saying that your data is available. And post that, you can test your session here. Like this is uh, the chat window that what you can test your data for. And before even doing that, what we have to do is that you have to go to deployments, where you have to create a new deployment and create a new model for yourself. And you can select the different models that are being available, like it can be of text embedding or GPT Turbo 365, and there are n number of base models that are being available. And once you are done with that, I'm again giving the same name over here, the one being added to it, and I am giving a deploy to it. And once your deployment is successful, you can go ahead and use the deployed one over there. Like now when you come back, your data got uploaded, and you can now select your deployment option that that you want to choose for. And when you had chose, you can now try your chatbot. Like we had uploaded two files, right? So I'm now I'm now testing my chatbot, saying that what is Power Apps, and it would be giving you all the details that are being available under that word or different kind of file that what you had given it for training. And it would also prompt you a reference saying that it is being mapped under to this under to this part of the reference. And you can also review the citations over there with the help of it, like it how it will get displayed and everything. So it helps you in a way that it would be having having a conversation also been recorded to it. Like if you go ahead and ask it saying that what was my previous message, then it would be able to answer it, because it uses since the it uses the LLM model being at the back end. It would be having the memory as a feature for it, and when the memory um, um, is being used, it would be giving you the message of what it has to what you had typed in, and it would be maintaining the history that what you had chat for until you clear that session. Okay. I had asked it saying that what was my previous question, and that was not able to answer it because it totally depends on your document and not here. So uh, what you can do is that you can also include the I mean, you can include the past messages, that whatever messages that you want to store here, and then you can also check for the parameters, and um, and based on the top K documents, which is like the matching ones, you can decide it, and you can decide on the various parameters that are being available, and you can play around with it. And what you can do is that you can even export it as a form of JSON. And with that JSON, what you can do is that you can use it in various ways. Like, yeah, it would get displayed in your format, and uh, you can use it in the different ways. So, apart from that, you can also deploy the model to the web app di- or to the Power Virtual Agent as well. And what you have to do when you want to deploy it to the Power Virtual Agent is that after you had give after you had trained and did everything, you have to go to the deploy model and click on the new web app and give a name for it, like, and you would select a subscription for the same, and you would be selecting the resource group as well and give a location for it. Okay, I'm just selecting different location, and it would also prompt you for the uh, pricing plan based on your subscription, and you can enable the chat history or you can disable the chat history based on your need. And once you had given the deploy, it would then get deployed, and your web app is now is in deployment stage, and that would take around 2 to 5 minutes to get your web app being deployed. And post that, it gets into the web app, and your chat is now enabled inside the web app, and when you type in over there as well, you would be able to get the responses for the same. So what we can do is that we can explore the Power Virtual Agent, by the way. So you will be giving on to the continue in the Power Virtual Agent, and post that, what happens is that it would be prompting you on the Power Virtual Agent page. And when you had given to the Power Virtual Agent, what you can do is that you can again you it's the same way that we are doing for the web application as well, wherein once you had did this, you you need to have a tenant being available for you when you want to access the Power Virtual Agent. And for that, what you would be doing is that you would be connecting that particular trained model being connected here, and you can publish this bot as well. So we had deployed, right? So let's continue to wait for it if the deployment is successful or not. Okay, that would take a while I have the previous web app that has been published already. Meanwhile, why we don't have to wait for the application being web app being deployed. So this is the same thing that what we had did, and I am giving it a question, and it would be generating the answer based on the trained model that what we had given it for. That would take a while as well to get your response being there. That's because one deployment is as well going at the end, and here we are using it. So kind of. Meanwhile, let me take up any questions if there are any.
Yeah, as of now, we don't have any questions in the chat, but if in case someone has got any questions, please feel free to unmute until the deployment goes on.
Okay. Okay. Slow, so it takes time to get the deployment as well as the answer being generated over there, and at times I get disconnected as well. And this is how the answer for the looks like. So given the references as well, like it had given me the documents of what it has, what we had given as well, apart from the answer that what we had given it for training. So this is how it would work, and it would also maintain the chat history in the web app as such, and you can share the web app as well. And then with that, I am I am done with the demo part for today, and I am open to questions if there are any.